Hi there, and welcome to Walk with Bandana Man. Today's walk is slightly different to most, as it takes place almost entirely within the forested area on the estate of Son Quint, northwest of Palma. This 2.5-hour circular excursion leads us through wooded hills, on stony tracks and footpaths across the esplanades of old quarries, down an absolute gem of a forest path called Sa Coma Bella, regaining rough tracks up to a col de Son Marill, and finally making our way back to the start via a track of similar terrain. All this while visiting some of the more accessible covetas on the way. A great walk, especially if you are in the Palma area. So, let's get out there. This walk is accessible by the EMT number 8 bus service from Palma station. You exit at the stop for Son Roqueta. From the bus stop at Son Roqueta, walk back towards the roundabout. Looking diagonally right, you'll see a sign for Son Puig. Take that road. You'll find yourself at the bottom of a hill with a short stretch of dual carriageway. 3/4 of the way up the hill, I saw this bus stop. It's for the number 7 bus from Palma. Might be worth investigating as an alternative. At the top of the hill, 10 minutes from the roundabout, you will see this road junction. Bear right here and take the first road on the right. With the golf course on your left, in 5 minutes you'll reach the Vileta cemetery car park. This is the start of your walk. If you came by car, then this is where you'll park. Our walk starts through this gate and returns through this one. We'll follow this track now for the next 10 minutes next to the golf course until we hit a minor road where we'll turn right. On reaching the fork in the road, we need to take the right fork, which will lead us to a locked gate. We can bypass this gate on the right-hand side. Within 4 minutes of leaving the gate, we arrive at the massive esplanade of the first quarried face of the quarry de Son Quint. At the end of the rock face, we will find the miners' buildings. In September 2024, at a price of 1.5 million euros, the Conseil de Palma acquired the Son Quint estate. They eventually wished to transform it into a natural park and nature reserve. Until the 1950s, there was a lot of human activity in these quarries. The buildings were used by miners to sort, load and transport the stone extracted from these faces. The stone was used in major projects, mostly hotels, that were beginning to evolve due to the rise in tourism that was happening. By the end of the 50s, less and less miners returned to the quarries as they found better conditions working in the mass of hotels that were now opening island-wide. Eventually, this contributed to the closure of these quarries. A few years ago, the Arabella Group applied to install 5,000 solar panels to provide power for the golf course and the Son Vida Hotel. Luckily for the local population and for the discerning walker in this area, the application was turned down. This path will wend its way up, gradually ascending all the way from the second quarry to a col with an intersection. About 25 minutes. And here's one of our very first opportunities on this forest walk to get a glimpse of the scenery. In the background there, that's Palma Bay. Panning left, we can get across the edges of Palma and the central plain. "25 minutes after leaving the second quarry face on this little ascending path, we reach here. This is a col, and it's the first major intersection. If we turn right, we can go and visit a little peak called Puig des Revels at 386 meters. Our track actually goes left until the next intersection. Literally 5 minutes up this now Land Rover track, we get to a second intersection where we need to turn right, down there. Literally about 4 minutes down from the second intersection along the track, if we look left, you'll see this cleared open section here. We need to just carry on along this track. Literally a few minutes down from the cleared area, we'll come to this other cleared area on the right hand side here, or cleared of trees anyway, and you can see just in the background there's a pylon. This is very significant because 10 meters further on from the end of this little clearing, our path goes off to the right hand side and down. This is quite a beautiful little forest path which cuts its way through the centre of this old stream valley, and it really is absolutely lovely.
This small section of footpath, probably about 15 metres or so, is reasonably steep and could be treacherous in damp conditions. If we tread carefully and take our time, it should not be too much of a problem.
Although it's not quite so steep and there's not so many rocks, we still have to exercise a bit of caution just coming down here until we reach the bottom where it's nice and flat. "12 minutes from starting the descent on this beautiful little forest path, you'll come to this. This is a ruin of a forn de calc, or a lime kiln. About 18 minutes down from when we started on this little forest track called Sa Coma Bella, we hit the road. Now, if you don't make that intersection and you carry on down the track and don't turn off right to come down this little path, you'll hit the road about 1 kilometre up there. So you'd have to walk all that way to get to this point to carry on with the walk. From here, we're just going to go to my right and take the first track up off the road. Virtually seconds after leaving the road, we come across this little track junction here. We need to go left here to get ourselves back just over top of the road again. After walking parallel with the road for 2 or 3 minutes, the track starts to make its way away from the road and back up to the hill. There's a nice view of Galapagos in the distance there, the highest 1,000 metre peak in the South Tramontana. And it looks like a beautifully manicured bodega over on the hillside there. 8 minutes after leaving the road, we come across this beautiful example of a lime kiln, or a forn de calc. A little way up we pass these crags on our right hand side. These are climbing crags. You can see evidence of bolts in there, but quite hard roots. There's probably 8 to 10 routes along this crag. On our way up the track to the col de Son Marill, we look left. Once again we can see Galapfo in the distance. Lovely. So here we are now, approaching the col de Son Marill. Minutes after leaving that lime kiln, we arrive at the col de Son Marill. From the col, we look right, go down the track that leads towards the sea in the background there, just for a while anyway. We just bear left on the same track. After 5 or 6 minutes of descending from the col, we'll come across this section here. This section is directly below these power cables, which we will follow down for another 5 or 6 minutes. After about 5 minutes of coming along parallel with the pylons there, we get to this intersection here. It's a 3-way track. We need to go to the left. A few minutes later, we'll enter this clearing. There's a little concrete bench here, and we need to go straight over and down to the left. Around from the concrete bench on this track, we pass on the right hand side, or on our right hand side, it's old ruined casa. Yeah, and just a few minutes down from that last intersection, this beautiful cove. It really is in great condition. It goes back 20 or 30 metres, and it's got a sinkhole at the other end to let the light and the air in. So yeah, what a super cove. Now all that's left for us to join the main track and go back to the start. So from the cove we'll see this fork in the track. We need to bear right. Virtually a minute or so along that track after leaving the cove, we hit the main track and we need to turn left. And here we are. After a 2.5 hour excursion around this lovely forest, we finally arrived back at the start of the walk, the cemetery car park. If you park here, then this is where your walk ends. If you came by bus like I did, then we've got another 15 minutes to do, so I'd better get going.
The Son Quint area is still very underdeveloped as a walking area and with no signage or dedicated walking routes. Because this is an area of natural sinkholes, it is important to keep to the pathways when traversing the forest. I suggest that you print off a map of the area before embarking on this trail. It's on Wikiloc and the route is Serra de Son Marill from Vileta. The best view is the OpenStreetMap, as it shows you all the footpaths, mines and covetas in the area if you wish to visit a couple en route. I believe the route is well worth the 2 to 3 hours it will take along these rugged forest tracks, with a bit of history thrown in. If you do it and enjoy it, probably you'll join me on another walk very soon.